Hey guys, I'm back with more Katawa Shoujo. In the last episode, just a bunch of talking. Story, basically. Still going in the story. Haven't really done anything. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All of the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny, I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protect, I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no, I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. I know now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school. If something, it's a fresh start and my life isn't over, it would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. So much freaking reading. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. But yeah, I lowered the volume of the game a little bit because I listened to the previous video and it sounded a little loud. Act 1, Life Expectancy. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy. With this brisk pace, I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds the school would have, more like a park with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this is my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school or the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kinda eerie. It makes me wish there Ugh. There was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I'd stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Naniki Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I am your homeroom, the science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asks you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher was saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Why? Sure. Why do I have to? Of course not, that's why I asked. Right, let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip, this is a big step, I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying so much about it, at least not this soon. Alright. I follow the teacher in the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious, the ceiling is unusually high, and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards, and the high old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames, simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. Gosh. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me, a girl with really long straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motion. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute, so is a cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please, welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else except one girl in the front row who has only one hand. Oh, this one. Oh, and she's missing a leg. Or two legs. Oh, God. Where was I? I cringe a little, but hide it behind bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. After the applause, there is a brief silence that nobody seems to want to be responsible for breaking. The teacher soon realizes that he should probably say something. He opens up with some unintelligible noise, shuts up as he loses his momentum, and then starts introducing me. Nobody seems to be interested. Maybe I should have just said yes to the self-introduction thing. Probably realizing he doesn't know anything about me, he just ends up saying my name wrong again and asks me to write it on the blackboard. I do that and turn back to face the class feeling awkward. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged slump. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh right, Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. Okay, so she's her. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi. Okay. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she has been staring at me this whole time. She nods once, nonchalantly, to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of a dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you?" I can see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you would think I was Shichan. Shichan is deaf, so I'm the person who will translate things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says, "It's nice to meet you too." You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shichan, of course, he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up there for no reason, right? Misha looks at me with a weird expression that continues. We don't know much about him, but maybe we'll find out later. Maybe I should have introduced myself after all. Anything would have given a better first impression that the teacher's droned and fumbling with my name. We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today. So soon, Hichan, right? Hichan? Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Hahaha, yeah, you look just like Hichan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shichan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there is anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kinda came straight to class today. Hahaha. Oh, it's 50 minutes. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there, and not just with school either. Alright. I'll see you guys next time for more Katawa Shoujo.